What is happening with my audio? What in the? I wonder if that came through.
I think because some people were unmuted.
Holy shit, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was
Echo.
weird.
Echo, 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 echo.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was
I
weird.
know. I was going to ask. It did sound different, but I was muted, and I was like checking to see if there was anything wrong on my end. But
I was muted, and I've got YouTube site muted. And anyway, hey, boys and girls, weather report for October 7th. I think we're live. Are we live? Yeah, unfortunately.
We are live.
Oh, let's see.
October 7th. It's nearly Halloween.
I know. And it's like 80 above out there again.
I got to find a birthday present that will just amaze my grandson. He's got a birthday coming up.
Well, I love Erica's continued analogy here. I think it really drives home.
The Earth is 6,000 years old.
She's really using their own logic against them.
Might have to cue up some music, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Otangelo, I really do believe that genetic code is natural. Not could be, it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have no reason to think it's not natural.
Yeah, me too.
So this is Shit Show Thursday.
What?
So
I thought that was
Friday. We're having Shit Show Friday, Thursday, and Friday today.
Oh, it's a double whammy now?
Well, there's just a lot of shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's the best I can do. Anyway, let's see what has been happening. So apparently the ICR, Creation Institute, has had a falling out with Francis Collins. Have you heard anything about this? The appalling moral failure of Francis Collins.
Really?
Yeah, because he insisted that people get vaccinated, I think.
Yeah.
And he also something about him using baby body parts.
I'm what?
Oh my Lord.
That's how they put it, using tissue from fetuses, basically. I don't know where that's at. Is that legal?
John Otangelo, the link is out there. What are you waiting for? An invitation?
Otangelo's not coming in. So
okay.
There are some people that are not getting in today.
Clearly I'm special because I got in.
Yeah, you are special, Midnight.
We all definitely special, Midnight.
Yeah.
The question is, which special are you referring to?
Is it a good special or a bad special? Yeah.
I wasn't even going there. I actually meant that sincerely.
No, I know. I just thanks. I appreciate it.
You give a different take on things, and we appreciate that.
Yep.
Oh, that's cute. Thanks.
I'm not cute. I'm a honey badger about to go on steroids.
Well, I mean, Andrew, you're not a man yet. I mean, you're a man, but
that's true.
So Otangelo Grasso thinks the world is 7,500 years old. He is so much better than...
That still doesn't get you to where we are now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I was watching a course on YouTube about physical geology, and they were going through some of the stuff that was pretty interesting. But he went through like the difference between a hypothesis and a theory, and methodological naturalism and stuff. There were some things he said that were kind of interesting about how we don't prove things in science.
Right.
We have theories and a hypothesis, and we just look at the evidence. But I was watching these geologists out in the field, and they were talking about how they gather evidence to figure out they were looking at glacial drift, and they were talking about how you gather the evidence to figure out which way the glacier was going, and a number of other things. It was really interesting how much stuff they gather in the field, geologists.
Right. You gather a bunch of evidence and then see which of competing hypotheses you think best fits the evidence.
Right. And none
Okay,
of them
Speed.
had a flood in them. I don't know.
Speed. Okay, I have two links. Well, I may have a few links for you, but if you look in the private chat, one of the links I gave you is an article about using AI to accurately predict gene expression.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yes, and I'm about to give you another one. The gene identified for limb development is there.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that one I want.
Yes.
That's a biggie. That's a real biggie. Let me try to put it in the chat.
Speaking of limbs, I really like the discussion that CRISPR and Rebecca had the other day. It was really insightful. Well, I mean, I knew what he was saying, of course, but like just the way he was explaining it, it was a really good way of thinking about it, in my opinion.
So why is there a man hugging a chimp, or I guess I don't know what is that, a monkey?
Scott wants to tell you about that story.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a sad but sweet story of a mountain gorilla who was a rescue, and I guess put him in a park, what do they call them, a preserve or whatever. Died recently of a virus, and so here she is, sick and being held by the guy that helped rescue her.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
sad.
But look at the
I mean,
face.
it's sweet, but it's sad too.
Yeah.
There was another story. Well, go ahead, Scott.
It's just it's just a piece of photography that pulls at the heart.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
one.
In the description.
All animals matter.
There was another story I ran across. About
Wait a
this.
minute.
Now
I
look
thought
at here.
only blue animals mattered.
This is probably a little too zoomed in on, but these two girls, one of which is the one shown before. They are standing flat, flat-footed, bipedally, imitating that guy off in the background.
Yeah.
Whoops! What just happened? Did the screen just do something wanky?
No, it's
No.
here.
Okay. But it is for me for some reason. But I'm trying to. Oh, here. Let me go over here. I'm trying to make it a little smaller so you can see the feet. They're mocking that guy off in the distance. And I apologize. There we go. See, look at that. They're at that parade rest practically. And they're just, they've got these little twinkles in their eyes that are just playful and trickstery and ha ha, I can be like you. It's just amazing.
Can we highlight LPP's latest comment because it just showcases how?
Yeah, this is
Okay, I have.
yeah.
Well, hold on. After that, I do have another animal related story. Hang
Sure.
on. Where is it? Where the hell is the title?
Yeah,
The
because
crane who fell in love with a human.
the what?
The crane who fell in love with a human.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Yes.
Whoops.
I
Sorry about
mean,
that.
talk about bestiality. Am I right?
I will stop sharing, and you can show whatever link you want.
Yeah, look,
There you
it's a good rip-off.
I also wanna show this image, which you know how the internet gets, but show that image first and then read the article because the internet already went nuts over the story. Oh,
About the crane?
yes.
Yeah.
Just
Goodness.
please show the image. It's funny.
I don't know where the image is.
The image is in the site, in the private chat. The last link I gave you, I gave you that CDN Discord app, whatever. Just click
Okay.
that, and it should open the image.
Am I going to regret this?
No, you're not. It's
Amy
nothing
will.
bad.
Oh, immutables in the chat. Hi,
Oh
immutable.
God, immutable.
Can we address Nestle? He came in and someone else addressed him.
Address who?
The sto-
Oh,
Nestle.
hi, Nestle. Nessie's here.
Wow.
yeah, the story.
I'm
the,
disappointed.
well, no, I was gonna say that the story blew up so much that the internet already turned the bird.
Okay.
Yeah, now show the article.
Is that like a crane furry or something like that?
It's adorable, but yeah, the article goes into more detail.
It's a
There was
new
humans over
species
here.
called a crewman.
Humans over here.
there was another article I need to go back and find on Twitter. But yeah, this one from the Washington Post should be all right for now.
I don't know if this channel approves this article.
Hey, you know what?
Early one summer morning. I don't like the way this is starting out.
Does it start out? I never thought this would happen to me.
Wait a minute, this is Crow's sexiest move. A sly reference. Okay, look at this. Come on now, Crow says. The zookeeper grabs a fistful of grass and tosses it into the air. His sexiest move. A sly reference to building a nest together. I don't.
What the
What?
fuck? I didn't even read this
Okay.
yet. I just found it because I couldn't. Wow, I couldn't remember that. What the fuck?
Yeah. You just found it by coincidence.
Yeah,
right.
Well, dude, this article.
No,
What kind of porn do you look at? What?
Just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh, let's see.
I'm sad that Erica can't join us today. She's
Why?
really
Oh,
making
sad.
some good points.
Well, why can't she join?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Maybe she's at work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's a teacher.
Well, we have
she's
Nestle
pretty
here,
busy
and
with-
no one else has addressed him.
I
Did you?
Nestle.
Did she actively say she couldn't come in?
I guess not.
Hey,
Or we just don't know.
oh shit, GrrBANia was late. He missed the whole GrrBANia thing that we did. The whole expose we did earlier. on
Yeah, he's
GrrBANia
really.
and Grr.
He's
Wait,
really
what
gonna,
expose?
Oh, we did a massive expose.
Yeah,
on
he's really
GrrBANia.
gonna like not show his face around YouTube.
Oh,
or-
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But-
Erica's mentioning that LPP couldn't explain what the ribose was. Like I don't know what LPP's background is, but okay.
What background?
Yeah. I don't know.
that would be Uber driving. Would be the background.
Yeah, I like how she put the if humans were born with wings, that would be evolution. I remember that. That was hilarious.
Oh no. Like an
Oh,
X-Men.
Seriously,
human
if
born
someone
with-
claims that's evolution, well, I guess Kent Hovind does.
Well,
Everybody's evolution.
I will say that.
Everybody's evolution.
Almost as special needs as when you couldn't explain what a ribose was. What did
Wow,
he think it was
that's
a
fucked
protein? He thought it was a protein, and then he thought phospholipids copied themselves or something.
What?
Yeah, he mentioned that in one of his early debates.
Hmm?
That was just when he was getting started. He's learned a lot.
Does he think phospholipids replicate like DNA?
He
RNA?
thought they replicated like DNA, I believe. Yeah, I don't know.
What is love? Okay, I'll
Some
stop.
of the early Standing for Truth debates. Standing for Truth never edits anything out. Oh, I guess he did edit something out. Well, Kent Hovind going off about the vaccine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yep.
Oh
he did,
no!
yeah.
It's not. It's not just that. It's not just that. Standing for Truth and Raw Matt also edited out. Edited the conversation he had with Sentinel Apologetics.
yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was
Yep.
what was wrong with the conversation? Was it bad or like?
No. From what I remember. Okay, I found it. From what I remember, right? After the conversation they had, right? Like Standing for Truth and Rob from Sentinel Apologetics, got along amicably, but I guess Standing for Truth decided to cut out like what the hell does Smokey say? 40 minutes.
So
Oh,
LPP thinks we're making this up. So maybe we need to go out and take a look. Maybe I'll have to go listen to those debates again. I believe they were early. Of course, he's going to run out and edit them now.
Hey, download them, Speed. Download them. What are you doing?
Oh, I know. Anyway, how did we get into this?
Well,
Because
Scott.
because he's in chat and he's getting into it with everybody else. It's like, John, you don't matter.
Well,
Get the fuck
Midnight,
out of here.
Nothing
what were you
really
saying about?
matters.
But Midnight,
stop
what were you saying about?
But what was I saying about what? Please remind me.
I put before about standing editing something.
Oh, right. As he did. Apparently, Standing for Truth. Edited like a video he had with Sentinel Apologetics. Rob. You remember him? He's been around for years. And he he made it seem like things didn't end as accurately as they did on the unedited clip. I know. The point is, Standing for Truth has done this shit before, editing stuff out before.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
Oh yeah, there's some things that Raw Matt said in early videos that were so bad, and they didn't edit them out. I couldn't believe it.
I made a video about that.
Yeah, the one where he was, what was he talking about? He was talking about something about cell membranes, and I don't know, something about genes that he said that was just unbelievably so ridiculous, and they left it in there. I couldn't believe it.
Okay. I really need to try to pay more attention to the chat because God's Given said logical possible. Oh please, you fumbled ribos so hard. The top brass overturning evolution, ladies and gents. Jesus Christ, Erica, what is it with you today? You're on fire.
She is on fire.
Fuck? Like I'm sorry, John, but
yeah, just own it. We'll stop making fun of. He was a noob.
No chill Gibbon.
Yeah.
No scope given.
Okay, Speed. Why are you still screen sharing this?
Am I?
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, because I kind of thought it was sexy.
What the fuck?
That was kind of.
I mean, you're pretty sexy. Oh wait, did I say that out loud?
Oh,
check
no.
your state laws about romantic relationships with animals.
With septis,
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's not really in love with him. You know what I mean? He's in love with her, or she's in love with him. God damn it, I can't speak. But
does somebody know where to bring up the ribose thing of LPP? Like where does
by the way, you're welcome, Speed.
Where it was? Is that what you're asking, Ness?
I'm sorry?
Are you asking where that was?
Yeah, I'm asking where it was. Like, where did LPP bungle the ribose?
Here's another interesting article.
Hang on, midnight. I was going to answer Ness if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Anyway, it was on.
Can I finish?
It was on SFT's stream. SFT versus Erica debate, I think. One of the early ones. I think it was like the first one that they had, and he was just an asshole to her. And
was LPP a moderator?
Was he a what?
A moderator.
No, he was the debater. SFT was the moderator.
SFT was moderator.
Yeah.
All right.
Go grab that and download it real fast before they edit it out. Anyway, okay. So I was looking at this paper. Is that really blurry for everybody else, or is that?
No, for my
no, that's
for me.
okay.
Kind of, but you mean
the text?
Well, what the hell's wrong with StreamYard? Jesus.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I found you another article that you might be interested in. Moth predicted to exist by Darwin and Wallace becomes a new species.
Ooh.
Yes, you're welcome. Oh wait, I posted in both of them.
I can't fucking keep up.
May I make a comment about the image that is in front of us right now?
Yes.
The yellow on that what is it? A salamander or a lizard of some sort? Salamander. Yep. Okay. When it's yellow like that, for some reason, I feel like it's poisonous, like it might bite me and inject me, or be toxic if I touch it. Is there is there a kind of a universal color scheme that makes?
I think so. Yeah.
Species more likely to be toxic than another based on external color.
I'm not sure about that. I thought it was all different with different things like toads and salamanders and snakes. I thought it was all different. I think there's a code you can do with snakes, but I'm not sure if that applies with these guys too.
So I had a little gardener snake today that was in right behind my car, and I wanted to back my car out, right? So I got a stick and I went to chase him away. And he started attacking me. He wouldn't move. He just stayed there. And I had to keep messing with him. And finally he went like 3 feet. And then he sat there and just snapped at me. And so that I don't know if he had rabies. I don't think they get rabies. But anyway, it was
the
like
lizard brain is fight or flight. And sometimes they fight, sometimes they flight.
Well, normally they run away, but he just wanted to lay there, and he may have been warming up yet, so he wasn't ready to get up. So he's like, "Leave me alone. I'm sleeping. I'm warming up."
Rabies is specifically a eutherian disease, like a mammal thing.
Yeah, mammal thing. Yeah, not eukaryote. But I just made a joke. But he seemed like a rabid gardener snake. He was just a little asshole. I couldn't believe it. And I was trying to save his life, It's like you don't want to run him over. And then he finally ran under the garbage can. But I got a little video of him. So anyway, let's see. Identify a gene that plays a central role in the evolution of limb development in vertebrates. By manipulating it in mice, they were able to activate an ancestral form of limb development seen in early tetrapods. Cool.
You're welcome.
What is the genes? Yeah, that's a good one. I mean,
immutable. Yeah, I know. I'm immutable. I'm like him.
Oh shit!
Not really.
You did it again.
That's almost like calling you a fucker.
Yeah, I'm not immutable. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Also open the link to the paper. It's below on this website. Like if you scroll down below, then it gives the link at the bottom. Usually.
Did LPP say something?
I know
reasonable?
People in your field think a fundamental requirement isn't something you need to account for in order for the rest of your model to be plausible. Freaking hilarious.
Okay, John, I don't know if you know it or not, but there are a whole bunch of people working on this gene code problem, and there's probably a couple thousand papers out there on this problem. So I mean, they are working on these fundamental requirements that you talk about. Yeah. So I don't know what the hell you're saying there.
But
you're saying that
there's no evidence for abiogenesis.
I think he's saying that we just accept the gene code and nobody's actually looking to how the gene code came to be. Is that true? I mean, is that what you're saying, John? I don't want to straw man you, but is that what you're saying, that nobody's looking into this? Because I got a paper I downloaded 3 days ago that's looking into this.
But I think he's also saying that in order for our models to work, we need to know everything, which is not the case. Well, like I can. He
made this claim in some other place, I think yesterday in chat or something, but he said the same thing. No, I heard him on his stream say that we refuse to look into these fundamental problems, the fundamental requirements or whatever, which he calls them. It's kind of a stupid way to put it. It's basically, we are looking into how abiogenesis happened and how all these codes came to be. I mean, that's what abio researchers do, John.
Like if I'm studying the process of erosion with like water, wind, and rain and such to know what causes erosion, I do not need to know where water comes from. I don't need to know like how water is produced. I just need to know what erosion is. Because, yeah.
Why is Erica being so mean to John?
Well, because he look what he said to her earlier.
Because he deserves it.
No, I'm sorry, but it's just it feels so odd seeing Erica being this mean. She's usually nice and polite.
Coincidentally, Erica made the input that I was making about the erosion thing. Yeah, it's exactly.
No, I've seen her do this before. She's just in the mood, and
No, I know.
and it's
She's
all
like,
deserved.
like,
That's for
Well,
sure.
you don't
being-
mess with Erica.
Yeah, you don't.
She's being an alpha female in this
Yep.
case.
Plus,
Yep.
she just finished that video on the Library of Errors, so her brain probably snapped. And she hasn't had a weekend to heal.
Wait, the Library of Mirrors? What?
The Library of Errors, that's her takedown chapter by chapter
okay.
of SFT and Raw Matt's book.
Oh my god. Erica, do yourself a favor and stop doing that. Okay, you're better than that. You don't you don't have to debunk. You don't have to debunk these people. They debunk themselves, right? I don't get it. Like, but
Self-bunking.
I mean, do what you want, but still, it's like, what?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go down to the bottom and see if we can find the paper.
I
Insights
agree with
into-
what Ox just wrote too. Let her roar. Let her roar.
Rawr!
all she wants.
Wait, you mean Erica?
Yep.
You mean
there you
Erica,
go.
not me.
Oh, Jesus, this is another article. Damn. Okay, I want the paper.
It's at the bottom, like in the more information,
Oh,
in
okay.
the grade there.
Gotcha.
like the DOI. The DOI there.
Hey, Speed, you owe me everything. Every book you have belongs to me.
You can click on it.
Do I have to click on it?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
you
look,
can.
you know,
It will go straight to the
DOI
original paper.
Yeah, the
I'm a
DOI.
boomer. I don't know how to click.
Speed, the DOI is there. Just use the secret website.
I don't know how to click. It's too hard. I can't click. I got the arthritis.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny. Wait, wrong thing.
I can make ageist jokes, but you fuckers can't, okay?
Yeah, I
Let's
can. I
just get
can
that
too.
straight.
Okay, I'm 36. I'll be 37 soon. I can make all the ageist jokes I want. Wait, was I muted? No, I wasn't. Okay, good. My
Wow.
sound is low though.
What is going on here? Oh my goodness.
Okay, look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be loud, but I just come off as loud.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's all. It's not on it yet. Hey, that's all.
Well, I can put the link in chat anyway. Let's see. Skid marks on the road. We covered that. We covered skid marks.
Yeah, I was about to say that sentence could have ended terribly, Erica. Thank you.
Okay. Regarding that whole crane falling in love with a human. Apparently, she killed her two mates first, then fell in love with a human.
Oh no. Is he next?
Probably. Jesus.
That sounds
It's a
good.
Black Widow crane.
Basically.
That's like that
Yeah.
time that I brought home a serial killer and my mom said, you know, you got red flags here. And I said, no, Mom, but she's so cute.
Yeah, so what? Someone can
But
be
just-
cute and still be like a fucking
Just-
sociopath.
Just look at how cute she is when she eats her toast. You know, she's just so cute. I had to bring her home. Well, I learned a harsh lesson there. Okay. I'm working on a quote or I'm working on a link, guys. That means I'm very distracted. That means you guys have to fill the air with airspace.
So
stuff.
Neslick, how have you been? It's been a while since
It's
you
been-
and I talked.
Good. I'm fine. Recently I've been seeing more papers pop up on abiogenesis, and also Dessel has given me some.
Dessel.
Yeah, he's asked me a bit more stuff about this, and we have been talking a lot via chat on YouTube at least. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I
it's also
thought
good.
Dessel did a really good stream about you
no.
and Immutables talk. Did you see that, Ness?
Yes, I've seen
Okay,
it. Yes.
yeah, it was pretty good. And I don't know, it just went really well with the talk. I think I want to download it and pair those two up because that was a good explanation. It was pretty cool. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this limb. Can't get to the bottom of this limb. Ooh, PDF. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to try. Oh, it worked. Cool. Got the PDF. It's free download to that limb article or limb paper. CLI3 repressor.
Hey, Danny, what's going on?
Dan.
Hey, how are y'all?
What's going on in your
Good.
world, Dominican?
I just interviewed Dr. Joshua Rasmussen.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was listening to. Yeah, I was listening in.
How come you ignored somebody? Was it who was supposed to have the Nietzsche talk?
Dessel.
Oh, that was Dessel. Oh, okay. How come you
Oh,
ignored
I
Dessel?
kind of forgot about that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, he kind of decided he didn't give a fuck about you anymore. He didn't care what you think. That's what
Looks
he.
like I
that's
beat
what
him
he
to
posted.
it.
That's what he posted in chat.
It looks like I beat him to it.
Are you still working on the link, Speed?
So, Danny, I got a question for you. I see.
No.
I see you. You're on a lot of streams, of course, right? You jump all over the place. You, especially in the Christian. You end up in either Mad X's you've been in past few days, praises, wherever. And sometimes I the conversations get pretty heated. They're battling back and forth, arguing. What's your criteria to say, a lot of times you don't really necessarily even get involved in the conversation. You just kind of sit and listen. Occasionally you jump in, but what's your criteria to,
Well, sometimes
at
they're
the
too
point where
weird
you
for
say,
Danny.
okay, I'm fucking out of here. Enough of this bullshit. Like,
I don't have criteria.
I mean,
really. It's just kind of how I feel, what I want, what I feel like talking about.
Yeah.
Who I like in the room, who I don't like in the room. I don't really have any principles about how I interact with people on YouTube.
I mean, some of the, what was it? Was it LPPs when Joel was that Joel's when Joel was in there and he was arguing?
Like if Joel starts talking, I lose. I start doing other stuff.
Speaking of Joel, I actually had a good discussion yesterday with Joel, surprisingly, because we stayed away from some of the other topics he's known for. We had a good discussion about programming. Computer programming. Because I mentioned that I mentioned that I heard Joel mention Speed, that he was a programmer. I was like, you know what? let me get in here.
Yeah, you're a programmer.
Yes.
A real one, C++, right?
I never said I was a real one, but I do like C++.
Yeah, you're a real one. Anyway, so
in my defense, the topic was Nietzsche. Wait, Dressel, I thought you liked Nietzsche. Or am I getting confused?
Before I went to bed at about 3 or 4 or some damn thing, I popped into John's stream, and there were 2 or 3 of them in there who I didn't recognize, and they were having an argument about if Jesus had a sinful mom and a sinless father, and if that made him perfect or something.
What?
It was like this bizarre conversation about the origin of Jesus, whether Mary was his mother.
Well, a sinless father will be God, apparently.
Yeah, the sinless father. Okay, they had that down, but if the mother sinned.
Well, hold on. Let me just but if you really look at it, God isn't without sin, right? Yeah, he's done a lot of atrocious shit in the Bible, which Christians seem to either deny or make excuses for.
But they seem to be talking about the inheritance of sin, that it was genetic, right? That if your parents were sinners, then you were somehow a sinner. I don't know. It was after John went to bed. It was at the end of the stream. So
okay, really you know what? I think this is Dressel, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, how in the fuck did I know it was you? Just based purely on the icon.
Probably because you've seen it before.
Not really. I don't remember seeing this one.
Mm-hmm. No, Danny, you don't owe me an apology. It's fine. In terms of the whole thing, let's...
I got some questions, but let's meet before in person like this, except without all these other losers. And then,
fuck you, Danny.
Hey.
Well, there goes that conversation.
Jeez.
Losers, Speed maybe, nice. But not me.
Okay.
Okay, you know I love you, Speed.
I know what's in your heart, Midnight.
Oh, sorry, I was AFK. What happened?
I know what's in
Danny
Danny's
came
heart.
in. Danny came in and got kicked out.
Yeah, Danny came in and called everybody a loser, and he got booted. That's pretty much it.
Mm.
Yep.
Yes.
So, Grr,
I love talking to Danny, but I would like it to have it civil at least.
he wants to have a talk backstage with you. So, if he's patient, he can have a talk backstage with you. He doesn't want us losers around, so I'm going to take his word for it. I'm going to do him a favor. I'm kind that way.
Mm.
So, okay, Mad God, the animated movie. I don't know, Robert. Did anybody else watch that trailer? I think I posted in yesterday's description.
Wait,
No.
Bad God, the animated movie.
Yeah, it's a scary movie. It looks pretty cool.
You know,
Actually.
I just finished watching yesterday, last night. I just finished watching, the What If series from Marvel. I cannot wait to season 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, really? How is
Yes, it is wonderful. It is awesome. Like the What If series has been such a mind fuck. Like, you
Are
know what
they
I mean? Like,
it? Are they streaming at one episode at a time, or is it all
well,
out there?
now the season is all done. It's all done. They were originally gonna have 10 episodes, but because of COVID, one of them got pushed back to season 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Which if
I-
you think about it,
I
doesn't
was
really
just
make
think-
sense.
yeah. I was just thinking, like, at the not to go into too much spoilers. At the end, you have this team all going together, and each member of the team had the previous episode, except for a few of them. And I wanted those to see. I wanted to see those.
Now that is interesting, Scott. Thanks for that link.
Yeah.
How about autism?
Yeah, Jay, was it Jay had read that? He said yesterday, and we were looking around for that article. It's really good. Speaking of things that were discovered during the Civil War, other than pterodactyls, apparently a doctor of some sort recorded a lot of patients that seem to have the symptoms of autism. So that it's not just, if it turns out to be accurate, then it's not just a product of the 20th and 21st century.
Well, of course.
It's a disease that goes back, but they were diagnosed or abandoned as children. Diagnosed as mentally incompetent. I hate to. The word they used was idiot, but
that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead, say it.
Or
I give you
children.
permission. I give you permission to use it as the autist in the room.
Okay. But anyway, it's just an interesting article, and it's interesting to get little historical tidbits about what happened to people with various. I don't want to say. I guess conditions is the idea, or various dispositions on the spectrum.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm kind of mad at Ness. What are you talking about, an asshole? Don't badmouth Nietzsche.
That's I would call that an understatement. He's not an asshole. He's the asshole of the history of philosophy. And I say that as
father of assholes.
Was it he who came up with the concept of the Ubermensch or something?
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, thank you.
That doesn't really make him an asshole, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm getting fascist vibes from that. Maybe
hold on.
That's a whole conversation.
The only reason you're getting fascist vibes is because his bitch ass of a sister, changed things to so it aligned with Nazi ideology. That's why you're getting fascist tones.
Thank you for sending those questions, Danny.
Sorry.
What's that?
Sorry they were so late. I had made them.
Oh,
I was thinking about adding more, but I didn't know if we just wanted to do the morality, because there are interesting questions on what Nietzsche thought about scientists.
Yep.
Which questions?
Well, Nietzsche was actually kind of critical, not of science, but of scientists, because they're like obsessed with like truth, and he thinks that that's kind of, my interpretation is that he thinks that that's kind of self-destructive.
So it depends, like, the way that he uses that term, true, is sometimes used in the context of responding to ancient Platonists and Buddhists and others who have this kind of like underlying, yeah, exactly, this eternalist understanding of what truth is, or a static interpretation of what truth is. And that's what he's criticizing. He's not really saying that there's no such thing as facts. Another criticism he had of scientists was to say that was basically he criticizes everybody in terms of their own implicit autobiography, how their ideas are often just an extension of who they are themselves. So like that's one area where he tries to rib scientists in terms of this objectivity that they feign to have. And then he also criticizes the notion of even trying to get at that state of objectivity, because he thinks it's very important to examine things from your perspective as a human, in terms of what is life affirming for you as a human being. So there's a lot of things that you have to say about that. Nestle, there's this book, Nietzsche, The Godfather of Fascism, with a question mark, that you could look into if you want to just check out whether or not you could properly describe Nietzsche as like a forefather of fascism. In my own opinion, the answer to that question is no. The fascists basically bastardized Nietzschean philosophy and adopted it for
literally what I just said.
I was about to say that I have not heard a lot of Nietzsche. Like I've only heard a few things, so I'm not very knowledgeable to make a statement like that, of course. But still,
Sure.
yeah. So sorry for that. So
Oh no, it's fine.
Dessel,
Yeah.
how would you apply what Nietzsche said about scientists to like Wagner with plate tectonics? How would that apply?
So he would, I doubt he would apply it in that case. He's not saying it as like a universal statement. He's saying it more in terms of like, for example, one of the things that he frequently applies it to is the particulate model, the idea of like the atom and stuff like that, because he is much more of like a fields and energy kind of guy. He talks about forces and power and stuff like that. So he wanted to criticize the atom model. But there's a bunch of stuff. He did have a bunch of criticisms of Darwinism, and that's one area that I really didn't care for a bunch of the stuff that he had to say. One of his criticism was about resource scarcity, and he denied resource scarcity in the natural world. And I think that the only way that he could plausibly say that is by acting as if the Darwinists had no notion of competition for those resources. And I just think that he was kind of not so great on criticizing Darwinism using some.
Apparently he's leaving. Sorry to interrupt you, Trace. I do love talking about Nietzsche, but I'm just saying that apparently he's leaving NIH. Yeah, I came across an article like that. Again, sorry, Dissel.
Hey, Dessel, was that book Nietzsche and the Nazis? Did you say?
That's another
No.
one. That's by Stephen Hicks. Stephen Hicks annoys the shit out of me. He's another one of those examples of a philosopher who just distorts the shit out of what Nietzsche has to say. And the reason why Hicks does that is because he wants to protect his dead girlfriend Ayn Rand from any kind of association with what anything that Nietzsche would have to say. So he really tries.
Who was that?
What was the correct name of the book?
Nathaniel Brandon?
So the book that I just recommended to Neslig was Nietzsche, Godfather of Fascism, with a question mark. And then the book that you just brought up, Nietzsche and the Nazis, is by Stephen Hicks. If you want further discussion about the relationship between Nietzsche and fascism, you could also look at the Cambridge Companion to Nietzsche, where there are some chapters that discuss the idea of his relationship to fascism, and they ultimately conclude that no, it's not appropriate to interpret him that way. Hicks ends up concluding that it's kind of even keel, that you could go either way. And the only reason why is because he explicitly, in terms of comparing Nietzsche's influence on the Nazis, throughout the entire book, he doesn't discuss once what Nietzsche has to say about things like nationalism or socialism or anything like that, which is kind of funny given that, those are the two major pillars that make up Nazi ideology, at least on paper. I wouldn't say that the Nazis were socialists in practice. I would say that they were fascists in practice. But nevertheless, on paper, they were calling for a socialist platform. So if you're going to analyze whether or not Nietzsche could be considered like a proto-Nazi or something like that, and there's nothing discussed in your book about nationalism or socialism, there's something wrong. But anyway.
I think about the atom point. I think that was he was critical of the atomistic need, right? Where there's like this, people want to think that there's this kind of like fundamentalness to reality. I think that's what he was critical of, right? Not like the sense of particle that we're understanding as atom and the sciences.
He is from what I remember reading, he is critical of the particulate view of the idea of the atom. And in that recent book that you showed by Simon May, he reiterates that. He discusses, and that's
the book?
I read most of that book by now.
What do you think?
So I would give him a B- because there's other shit.
That's good for Nessa. So that's good for Dessel, right? Grading for Dessel.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I mean, like, there's some things that he says that I wish other people would say more. But then, as I was reading, there was other stuff that he was saying that I didn't like so much. Like, he's trying to paint Nietzsche as somebody who would at least say that the life that the like Christian or altruistic ethic could be life affirming in certain instances. But there are quotations when Nietzsche says like that the aristocratic ethic is at least as life affirming as the Christian altruistic one, which would seem to support May. But when you just continue to read right after he says that, he says, but even when I say that, I'm saying far too little, because he's basically just being light on the altruist at that point. His real message is he doesn't like altruism, at least from a particular perspective. If you have if you have a person who's life denying, he doesn't mind that person being altruistic. But if there's a person who is life affirming and ascending and growing and flourishing, he doesn't want that person to be altruistic. He wants that person to be self-minded.
Okay, I have a question about Nietzsche's view on like scientific truth. Like, my view is that science, it's almost like science doesn't really talk about truth. It's not like, oh, this is our best idea of what we can figure out, and it may change in the future based on new data. And it's like, oh, that's the truth. Some people might say truth doesn't change, but of course I would say that that's provisional truth. Would Nietzsche also have the similar view than I do, or is it different?
Do you read him as a perspectivist, like the Dessel? Because
so really, yeah. So what's going on here with perspectivism? So first, like Nesslig, I don't think Nietzsche really has a problem with scientific methodology or the idea that evidence can change and things like that. There are many excerpts you can find where he supports that. You go into his notebooks published in the book The Will to Power, and he has like extensive sections on scientific methodology and epistemology, and he talks highly approvingly of them, and even says that the closest you could actually get to a kind of objectivity where you're describing facts in a way that just is purely corresponding to the world is through the application of the scientific method. And he praises scientists for being open to what he calls a treasure trove of possibilities, rather than relying simply on, something that redefined living. I hear a lot on the streams. He makes fun of scientists because what they say will change over time. And Redefine Living thinks that he's much better off just relying on a Bible and a Word of God that will never change. And because it never changes, he's far better off. And Nietzsche's criticizing that. What's that?
Well, no, I just want to say, but that view of a new life or
I think
whatever.
I was saying something there at midnight. So that's
Okay,
your
whatever.
your mic is popping or something. So we're gonna start a GoFundMe and get you a mic. So you're driving woolly, ignorant, crazy. Is your mic too close to you or something? And also, we have GrrBANia in the room. GrrBANia is here.
I didn't want to.
Not GrrBANia.
GrrBANia.
I didn't want to turn this whole show into a discussion on Nietzsche. So if you guys would permit me, I'd just like to close out this discussion.
go ahead.
Me and Danny can pick it up.
But I have
another
so
time.
much to say.
Yeah.
Fine, go
Try
ahead.
not to pop
So-
so much.
You always
That-
have so much to say.
It's just
Yes, screw
the
you,
thing
Gurr.
about perspectivism, like, it really needs to get fleshed out what that doctrine is supposed to be, because there are so many people that interpret him as saying that it all comes down to perspective and there's no such thing as fact, period. That, you say that there's a chair in the room, you say there's a chair in the room, he's just going to say that's just your perspective. And of course that's not what Nietzsche's actually saying. That's absolutely ridiculous to try to say that,
Really?
that's not what he's trying to go for.
I think that's what Daniel Bonavec thinks about Nietzsche. He takes it. I think a lot of people read Nietzsche as a relativist about truth.
Yeah, and I would strongly reject that position. I would say, though, that he is emphasizing the importance that the ideas that a person comes to are a reflection of who they are, and he thinks that that's very important, especially when it comes to topics that are controversial or fiery. That's really where
I agree with that.
Yeah, I've also seen a good professor who also made a lot of YouTube videos, and he talks about he's called Johannes Jaeger, and he talks about the questions that we ask in research is often motivated by our own perspectives. Like, for example, when science was dominated by men in the past, and they were all often asking questions about how the role of men played in the sexual stuff and such. And of course, these questions were heavily biased from their own perspective at the time. So maybe that's one example of perspectivism.
I mean, that implies that women didn't ask those questions either. What?
Yeah.
So,
No,
and
right.
I just the last things to throw out there, like, I wouldn't even first, Danny, if you want to take a look at Robert Solomon, he has a chapter, I think, in the Cambridge Companion to Nietzsche, where he rejects that position of interpreting Nietzsche as a truth relativist, and one of the consequences of being a truth relativist would be that everybody's opinion would be equal. But that's exactly one of the things that Nietzsche wants to harp against most, that his opinion is his opinion, and you don't have an equal right to it. You don't have a right to it as he does, because he's the one who's put in the work to get there, and you haven't.
Well,
and so that would give him a better a one up on you in that sense.
Do you
He's
think
talking
Nietzsche
about
has?
if people are trying to know things, he says they have a lot of work to do because it comes down to them doing the work. Go ahead.
No, exactly. Well, hold on, Dan. I just wanted to say something.
Are you guys wrapping it up? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I do want to wrap up this topic, though. We could pick it up at a later time. I'll listen to one last
But
thing.
you
that Jen
don't.
had to
Last
say.
question, though. Last question. You don't think that Nietzsche thinks they're moral facts or normative facts?
I do, in fact, think that Nietzsche thinks that there are moral
He
facts.
explicitly says there are none.
Right, in a
almost
particular
explicit.
in a particular context, though, what he's talking about in terms of moral facts, right? And this is actually something that Simon May talks about in the book too. That it's very difficult when you really start to read Nietzsche to interpret him as some kind of a motivist. He's not. He's an ethical naturalist. And so what's really going on there when he's talking about moral facts? Again, he's using that term moral in the same way that he's using truth in a stipulative way. We're talking to very particular opponents. When he talks about morality, he is describing the altruist, Christian, or Buddhist morality.
I don't know what emotivism has to do. Look, you can be you don't have to be an emotivist to think that there are no moral facts.
So,
Can I
but
say
that would
something
be
about
one
this?
position. That would be one position of there being no moral facts, no objective basis for morality, is because the idea is that it's all just subjective opinion. But the way out of that, from the emotivist perspective, is there was this article I linked you to a while back, Danny, that discussed the possibility of emotions being based on facts in some way, such as, for example, with respect to the instincts. And when you read Nietzsche, for example, in the Antichrist, he explicitly gives you a definition of good and evil in terms of what makes, he says explicitly, what makes an animal or a species corrupt is when it abandons its instincts, when it prefers what is injurious to it. And the good is that which accentuates power and power itself in man. And all that is evil is that which proceeds from weakness, because his whole project is to find what
That's
is
compatible, but that's compatible with thinking there are no moral facts.
I don't think that's
Okay,
true.
either wrap it up or let me say something.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up, and if we want to debate this topic, let's do it another time.
Well, I did
Danny,
want to say something really quick, if I can.
go ahead.
I've been trying. Okay,
Look at the
Either one.
private
Said-
chat. Private chat, Des.
What do you want to say, Midnight?
as I was trying to say, Deso, yeah, it's funny, Gur. As I was trying to say, Deso said that not everyone's opinion is valid, right? That's what you said. I heard you correctly, right?
It's like just that. It's more that he's focusing on those who actually did the work versus those who haven't put in the work. So, like, he's saying that my opinion is my opinion, and you don't easily have the right to my opinion because you haven't been exposed to the things that I have been exposed to. That's his point.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess like, the point I was going to add to that is that when people always say everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that may be true, but saying that doesn't really get us to who has a valid opinion. You know what I mean? If you tell me, okay, my socks are blue, well, okay, you're entitled to that opinion, but what the fuck does that have to do with the conversation about morality? You know what I mean?
Alrighty. GrrBANia, what are you up to?
Oh, living the dream.
Living the dream.
No,
Going to
no.
and
What you're
fro on
doing,
the earth.
no. What you're, you know what? Go ahead. Fuck you. I was trying to make a joke, but it didn't come out.
Yeah, just fuck you, GrrBANia.
No, I was saying fuck you to myself, not him.
Yeah, fuck you, Midnight.
Yeah, I was gonna ban you, Gurr, but I decided to report you to Homeland Security instead.
Why the fuck are you banning Gurr?
Yes,
like
Steve,
it's not.
why ban me?
It's not his fault. He's a defective robot. Okay.
Yeah, I know he's a defective.
I was
robot.
made this way.
Yeah, I was just-
We're
That
going
was
to talk
just-
about Collins again, or
Oh no,
I kind of want to host. I kind of want to host a Deep Sheehan hangout after this. Now that I think about
Yeah, why
it.
don't you go ahead and do that? Why don't you all three go over there?
Why don't y'all talk about nucleotides or something?
Well,
Damn,
no,
no.
I'm tired.
No.
I'm tired of talking about nucleotides. I'm hearing that. We're going to talk about philosophy, Nietzsche. Okay.
So yeah.
you can talk about Prizap.
Anyway,
I love pizza.
Prizap position.
God,
Yeah,
I just have
Prizap
no
position.
patience.
Prizap.
I've never had any patience for Nietzsche.
Well, of course you don't, because
It's
you
not
hate-
provoking.
because you hate
Introduced when I
philosophy.
was like, no, I don't. I was introduced to Nietzsche when I was like 15 years old, and
Well, of course.
I
Many,
just,
many,
What did you
many.
see? God is dead written on a bathroom stall or something?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people. Honestly, it's really sad how a lot of
I'm
teenagers
sitting in
in
the
their.
room a little bit. Anyway,
Well, no, look. It's really rather sad. You know how Nietzsche's become associated with angsty teenagers. Oh my God, God is dead. Nothing matters. This and all that. Like, that's not
No,
Nietzsche's message.
Sartre, Nietzsche, and who the fuck else? That group basically
Harper
hit me when I was
Schopenhauer?
a teenager. When I was a teenager, and all I could think about is hanging myself. And
Oh,
they made
come
me
on,
just want
Spade.
to hang myself more.
Well, that's because wow, that is.
It was just the
extremely-
darkest shit that I had ever read, and
Right,
it
but
just
you know,
wasn't-
but there's hope in that darkness. You didn't see it.
No, I never got to the hope part. I guess I missed
No.
the hope part.
Hey,
Anyway,
Top
you're-
Dog. I heard you referred to as Shadik.
Yeah, Shadik. Who,
What?
That was Sal Cordova.
That was
called him
Sal.
Shadik.
Yeah, it was Sal.
Yeah, top dog, Shadik.
Okay,
said, yeah.
1 more hour to go.
He said, what did he say? Oh yeah, Speed and David and Top Dog Shadik.
What in the fuck are you referring to? I feel so left out.
Oh, where did you hear that?
How do they talk? So
I would love to go back
if
and
that's
listen
how
to
they
that.
talk,
No, you don't get to
or
talk.
they just
Okay,
misread
go
it.
ahead.
Or...
Oh, we can. Oh, can anybody hear me?
He definitely called you Shadik.
He did.
Ness, I can hear
Didn't
you.
mean it in any bad ways. Could be just how he
No,
mispronounced it.
yeah, I think he just pronounced it that way. I don't think he meant anything by it, in all honesty. But it was kind of.
He actually
funny.
mispronounced it, and he missed the hilarity of his
I
mispronunciation.
know. I wanted to say something, but I thought, nah, I'm just gonna sit here.
Come on, Sal, it's not Shadik. Oh my
So,
God.
Speed, what did you think about what little bit of that stream that you saw?
I watched the Cell part, and where Cell came in, and then I was in chat. I was kind of Cell Cordova, what a fucking piece of work. The guy is being taught. I mean,
He seemed
they're
very
threatening
nice.
to arrest him in his own church, right? And this is what he does. He gets in and he creates this. He's one of these passive aggressive fucking monsters that digs his way into something and creates all kinds of havoc while being a really nice guy. And if you look back at his history over the last 10, 15, 20 years, he's been doing this forever, and he is not well regarded in a lot of forums and stuff like that. And he got into some kind of shitstorm with me over me telling him I handed him his ass on fitness. And then he got all pissed off, and then he heard John Peterson said something real quiet about him that nobody would have ever noticed, but Emery Moyna brought it to him, and he blew that up, and then he banned me, and he just went off the deep end. All of a sudden, we were friends, and all I how I talk. Like I fucking called this stream GrrBANia, for fuck's sake. I mean, I'm not gonna ban you, and I'm not really mad at you. But
Well, it was the first stream I saw this morning. The first notification that popped up, it said "Answers in Atheism, GrrBANia," and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah, what kind of a day am I gonna have? Right?
Anyway, I mean, you've got to fucking understand that it's tongue in cheek, guys. Come on.
Well, I had a feeling you were LPPing me, meaning you'd make a stream with my name but never actually address me.
Oh, yeah, we were gonna do that too, but we decided not to fuck with you. So.
The secret's out. The secret's out. Yeah.
Actually, we haven't talked about you at all, but anyway, so the other night on the stream, I was on your stream.
Sucks.
I was on your stream having a fairly normal conversation with
with
LPP, and then I get off, and then I think you brought it to me, David, right yesterday. As soon as I got off, so I listened to it yesterday, and like all of a sudden, okay, John trash talking you, that's just fucking par for the course, right?
Right.
But then Immutable and fucking Leo piped in. And now John described that as me being butthurt. And do you know what that means when you're butthurt? And, I'm just going to toss you out, Danny, because I don't like to squirt on your face.
Come on. What are you doing?
I'm out of here. I'm out of here right now, too. I'll catch y'all later.
Hey, Dazzle.
Bye.
See y'all. And just one last thing.
That's to buy a mic.
Just one last thing about Nestle. Thank you for sending me those papers. There's a bunch of them. They're absolutely awesome. And the last one that you mentioned about ATP from Lane, he talks about that a bit in his book, The Vital Question. And I think it's his PhD understudy Camp Ruby, who does a bunch of work on that. And you could get Camp Ruby's dissertation for free online if you look for it. I'll send it to you.
All right, thank you.
All right, All right, I'll catch y'all later.
See ya.
Anyway,
ciao.
But go ahead, Speed.
So anyway, John described that as, you're butthurt about it, right? And that's what men say when they want to downplay the fact that it kind of hurt. I mean, these fuckers are supposed to be my friends,
well,
and they were kind of shitty to me. It's like, what the fuck? And I don't know. I was a little taken aback. I gotta admit, but I mean, no, I wasn't mad at you at all.
Well, I was actually.
And I loved what you said about Leo and Immutable threw me off your scent.
Speed, can you rejoin Danny, because I think he wants to come back.
Why does he want to come back?
The joke was funny, but can you get it back?
Was he funny? No.
I mean your joke was funny for now, but please get him back. So yeah.
How do you know it was what makes you think it was a joke? What makes you think it was a joke?
I know. I don't think it was.
Well, Speed, I was actually going to respond to that comment when John originally made it about being butthurt, but of course,
yeah, it's kind of a shitty way to talk about it when somebody does something shitty to somebody else and saying, "Oh, you're all butthurt about it." It's like, what does that imply, that you're a soy boy if you have feelings?
Well, and that's my thing, because I was wanting to say this, but it was a crowded room and everybody else started talking, so I was like, "Yeah, it's whatever," even though it was my own channel. But
basically, you gave up control of your channel. Admit it, Grr.
I do it all the time. It's what makes the channel thrive, and by thrive I mean do okay. Well, anyway, yeah. When he said that, I thought kind of like what you said. If somebody was on another stream, if I had people that I thought were friends on another channel shit talking me, I would be hurt by that.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit, and it's like, and I just thought, what the fuck, But I think I understand the dynamics behind it. It's pretty complicated. So, but I just took it as, I don't know.
No, and I understand
it's an opportunity to make a correction. I do this stuff.
You want me to give you a crash course, Speed? I know all about being shit talked about behind my back, and how to deal with it.
But I mean, I do this for 2 hours a day, and I kind of like to be comfortable with the people I'm in the room with. And if I'm uncomfortable with the people in the room, then I guess I don't have to have them in the room, because I got this fucking mouse pointer here. I can just move around. It says remove, and
right.
I like it.
Because like when it comes to people I don't like on YouTube, I usually won't even mention that I don't like them, because I'm just like, you know what, it doesn't matter.
Well, shit, I wish I could do this with my relatives.
Yeah, just take them out. The click of a mouse.
Just fucking remove them. Just toss them out. I don't know. And if
what did they say? I wasn't there.
You weren't where?
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, you were there.
Oh, you're just fucking get the fuck out of here.
I think he did. I think he genuinely forgot, if I had to guess, because he's on a lot of streams, so he probably did forget.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was that, and I don't know. Yeah, it just surprised me, no doubt about it. But your streams are pretty cool, because I guess you're gathering just a fucking shitstorm sometimes that you gather together in one place, and I applaud you for that. I don't have the heart to do that shit. So
well, and that's my thing. I will let anyone in, even people I despise. Yeah. Just for the hell of it. The only time I start kicking people out is if they start saying some sort of racist nonsense. Yeah. Then obviously it's like, okay, you gotta go. But if somebody's shit talking me or shit talking other people, I'm just like, well, whatever. Shit talking does not bother me at all, unless it is about other people in a hateful way.
On this channel, I'd kind of like take it up a notch or two occasionally. I don't know. I'm just I'm so tired of it all.
Well, that's one reason I have a separate channel. That way my regular channel is not tainted by all this fucking bullshit.
What I'm doing is Saturday Night at the Atheist, and maybe Shit Show Friday or something is okay. I can just sit back and let it roll. But any other day, it's like, you either like it or you don't. I don't have a hell of a lot of subscribers because of this. But that's okay, because I don't fucking need subscribers.
Well, Speed, actually, you get more viewers than I do on average when it comes to my live streams.
Yeah, except for the one where you had the trifecta of Smokey Will. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster.
If you could get Satan, Hitler, And who else? Who would be a good third there?
Starlin. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Stalin.
I don't know.
Hey, what was crazy was Will,
Richard
Rage,
Nixon.
and Kat were getting along towards the end, and then Lady Midnight came into the room.
Yeah, and Rage just blew. I couldn't believe it.
Yes, and I was behind, but I even said that I agreed with Midnight, but Rage was just taking it like I don't know how he was perceiving Midnight's question so incorrectly. It was really
I know,
blew my
yeah.
mind.
Well, I think he was tired, and he was kind of on edge, so he just went off on Midnight. But I mean, what Midnight said had nothing to do with the reaction he got. So you're right. It was kind of surprising.
And we talked for a minute backstage, and I wish that could have been live because that was fun. But yeah, I don't know. It was a hell of a roller coaster of a stream.
Yeah, it was something else, boy. That was brave.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I was going to do a live stream that night, and originally the plan was to have Danny on at first, just me and Danny, because I wanted to inquire more about his philosophical leanings and opinions and whatnot. But then Kat emailed me and said, "Hey, the Raging Atheist," and I think she said the Raging Atheist would definitely be on the stream later on, and maybe Smokey. And I thought, okay. So I told Danny, I said, "Listen, Danny, this might be the wrong night for it. I don't know if this is going to happen, but supposedly, there's going to be people joining the stream that have a lot of issues with each other." I said, I don't know if that's going to be the case for sure, because I really wasn't quite sure. Because people can say I'll do a thing, but never actually do it. And then I figured if they're all there, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a dumpster fire. And boy, it was.
It was something.
I should have warned everybody, but I kind of didn't really know if it was going to be that way.
Well, it's like Kat and Will and Smokey are like dynamite, nitroglycerin, and fucking radioactive material, and then the Rage is like the fuse, right?
Well, what was funny is I think this was a separate stream. I had Ryan the Presbyterian join my stream, and I've never spoken with him on stream before, just a couple comments here and there. And Kat was in the room, so Ryan says, "Kat, are you Will's cat?" And oh my God, she fucking lost it. She said,
Really?
"Why does everybody keep saying I'm Will's cat? I do not belong to Will."
She was staying at his house and streaming from his house, so I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
She has a close relationship with Will, yet she doesn't like Smokey, right?
Yeah, I don't really get that either, because I will, I'll put up with and occasionally hang out with people I don't like and some people that I absolutely despise, but it's not a regular occurrence by any means. And so that has always puzzled me, how Kat talks so much shit about Smokey, which rightfully so, but she does definitely, she gets so many streams with him. So, but it's whatever. Everybody's different, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Were you interested in any of that information stuff and what John is talking about? I know you were on a stream, and I don't know. And I reached out to you and asked you if you wanted to have a chat about it sometime.
Oh yeah, I meant to get back with you. It's been a busy day, busy week.
Yeah, I don't know.
But when it comes to genetics and DNA and all that stuff, I am interested in it, but my attention starts to degrade after probably 15 minutes. Then I'm like, oh my God, okay, whatever.
we could do a 15-minute stream. That'd be great.
And just so you know, anytime I do look into information regarding, like anytime I look into anything related to science, I never turn to any young Earth creationist or intelligent design proponent. I look to actual scientists, not these fringe, goons on the religious side of things.
Yeah, did you see yesterday where I showed Emery Moyna, or Dorkoff, I call him, holding up the Bible? You know, the Bible, my ultimate. Did you see that stream? I mean, it was like 3 different clips, right? Run together.
I saw some of it. I think I was still at work at the time. There's some reason I didn't catch all of it, but I was wanting to look up that guy. Who is that guy? The young guy who said, "If it's in the Bible, it's true," or whatever the hell he said.
What the hell's the name of his site?
I don't remember.
In God's image.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
In his image.
In his image. In his
image. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Emery Moyna. And oh my God, if you listen to him, it's all he's bashing.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
Left. And I mean, he's just he's into politics and church politics.
Oh
and,
God.
That's one of the reasons why Sel is in hot water with his church right now, because there's this big fight going on with fundamentalists, I guess.
Like he made once he made once a video on like dinosaurs with feathers, and I basically went full ape shit on him. Like this is all wrong. Why are you telling this? And after I made those comments, he deleted the video. Like it's no longer alive.
Wait. Oh, he deleted the video?
After I commented on it. Yeah. Maybe it could be he deleted it for another reason, but I suspect it was because of me. Wow. Yeah.
Wait, what did he say or do that got him into so much trouble with other fundamentalists and even the law potentially?
Oh, you mean Sel?
Yeah, or are we talking about somebody else?
Well, he was going to the church and he was interviewing people, and like he had a notepad and stuff, and he was trying to create. He was trying to get rid of the current pastors, and and then he started going to the church and taking pictures from the back row, and then counting the attendance, and then he was putting out graphs, and he started a website, and it was just political infighting in this church.
He was doing a whisper campaign, trying to basically destroy people's confidence in the church, because there's kind of an energy churches have that if you're growing, then that makes you grow more. But if you're starting to decline, that makes people stay away. And so it's just he was doing a whisper campaign and talking against the pastor and stuff. So that's just the way they do things in church.
Yeah, but I mean, God, come on, guys.
I mean, that's so nice to me.
That's a really huge church, and it just and now he's talking about being worried for his life, and he's talking about them like they're mafia and they're
that's
stealing
just part
money
of his pathology.
He was referring to the congregation as taking him out. I thought he was talking about FBI agents and some sort of conspiracy theory.
He was talking about the powers in the church, right?
Not many people know this, but if your church size is like more than 150 or 200, there's a secret ninja squad of assassins.
They will slit your throat with a cross.
That's right. Yeah, they do that. They go around and just kill people who talk bad about them.
But Gar, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Erica.
No. Someone said, "What's up?" And I'm nursing bronchitis, which is why my voice is.
That sucks.
But I'm
you still sound better than me.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm just eating copious amounts of Halloween candy to make myself.
Your voice is a little deeper than normal.
I know, it brings it down. I wish I could pull it up on command, huh?
I will say, anytime I get a sore throat, I always feel like I sound so cool. But yeah.
I know, I feel like I could be in a jazz club right now.
You're right.
You sound like you're holding your nose shut.
More than usual, you mean?
Yeah. Well, no. Normally you sound pretty cool. But.
Well, thank you, Speed.
Anyway, really good stream. Really good stream. Was that yesterday? That SFT thing?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. You explain things so well, and the analysis was so thorough about the different features and stuff that groups people in different categories. People, I mean animals and life.
Man, I started thinking about it, and I really want to do an animated video about nested hierarchies, just the concept of them, because I feel like I feel like after reading that, I was like, no wonder they have so much trouble with the concept. They don't know what it means, right? Like, I was like, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it can be hard to grasp. I don't know. Someone in the comments was like, I feel like Erica gets frustrated with standing for truth, but actively angry at Ramat. And I was like, I think that characterizes it pretty well. Ramat pisses me off.
Well,
have you gotten to the part where Ramat says that apes only have one inner ear bone?
Oh my, no. But I almost like, my mouth started tasting like battery acid because I read the part where he goes, one of the distinguishing characteristics, actually, I don't know if this might be in part 2, but one of the distinguishing characteristics that he has for apes that distinguishes them to the exclusion of humans is the fact that they have 2 bones in their forearms and in the distal part of their legs.
What?
And I was like, you mean like the radius and the ulna, Matthew?
Oh my God. You know, Erica, it's just the opposite for me. SFT pisses me off because he knows better, but Ramat is kind of special.
Or maybe he thinks the humans have the tibula.
I mean, the guy really lacks the ability to read something and have a rational thought. I mean, I think I'm fonder of him because he's special.
It's very hard for me to be fond of someone who I feel like could be hiding behind my trash can. You know, I mean, like, I feel like Ramat would just like, he seems like, because he said one time, Dan like busted him on something, and Ramat was like, his response to being busted by Dan was like, I'm gonna break you in half. Like, it was,
oh yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And these are the people that say they're not related to apes, but they have the most monkey brain responses to stuff. It's like, you made me mad, I'll kill you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll kill you.
Well, I love how you were talking to John Maddox in the side chat earlier. That was so freaking hilarious. I love John Maddox, but he dishes it out so much that I love to see him get it back.
The thing is, I shouldn't have done it because it lets John, you know, he develops these delusions that he's actually worth the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, which is why I try to interact with him as little as possible. I see he's been streaming again, which that feels like more of a pox on the internet. We had such a nice respite in his presence. But
I mean, Eric, he comes here and he's just desperate for attention. He comes.
I got a present for you, Erica. I got a present.
Oh, Erica, what did you refer to when you talk about LPP and ribose? What is it about the ribose?
Oh yeah, well, oh god, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it was with my debate with him on Standing for Truth's channel or if it was prior to this, and I knew it prior to the debate. But why is he lifting a rock?
I don't know. He's also
a rock even God couldn't lift.
In this book, he explains how for 2 months he did nothing but attack.
That's for real.
He attacked beehives
This
and
is
ate
not
their honey in the wild for 2
no,
months.
that's the recurring.
This isn't parody.
In my group with Ramat is that he literally lived.
This
he
is
like
his
lived
book.
in the wild or something, eating raw honey. And I told Dan and them, I was like, I'm getting kind of nervous tonight because I'm throwing out a bottle of honey, like expired honey. And I'm worried that when I walk out to the trash, I'm going to get chunked by Ramat.
Oh no, you don't want to throw it in the garbage, boy. He'll get it. He'll fucking get it.
Speed.
No, it's not a
I
parody.
legit thought this. I thought this was one of Peter's creations right here. But
no, this is actual
this is
book.
for real.
This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. Yes.
Okay, professional fight champion, lecturer, formulator of epic elixirs, and ordained Essene. What the fuck is?
Sounds like something like Alex Jones would sell. Epic.
Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah. He's
How
a lot.
Disease-proof your body. Stay young longer. Eat well, cheaply, and easily. Just eat fruit. Whatever. Okay, so he's got a disclaimer.
I feel like he should be like in one of these Old West movies.
What the hell is that?
some guy.
Oh, that was
Go
his
back to
illustration.
speed. What the hell is
that's his
that?
illustration. That's
Oh,
him.
that's
That's
so in the
him
book?
going out to attack honey bees.
I know what that is. And that is a depiction of Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a camel, as described by S.J. Thomason.
With a box of honey.
Yeah, she has a problem distinguishing camels from donkeys. I don't know
Okay,
why,
look
but
at all this
it's a
thing is
thing.
formatted. Health is wealth, symbiosis, my basic dietary rules, breatharians,
Breatharian. Oh yeah, breatharian. Oh my god.
Yeah,
why
he was a
alternative
breatharian.
medicine, what to eat, frugivores. What else?
The weird thing is, like, Standing for Truth can compose a sentence. Like, I don't know why he's hitched his wagon to Raw Matt. I think it's just because Raw Matt, like, they were pals or are friends or something. Because if Standing knew any better, he would just cut and run with that. And because I think Standing could compose like a moderately readable book, but Raw Matt is functionally illiterate. Is the problem?
It's almost like you're the saying, like you can't choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And SFT is like, well, do you really choose your friends?
Oh,
I
here we
guess
got
so.
colon cleanse. We got colon cleanse, and we got liver cleanse and heavy
The
metals.
heavy
cleanse.
metals cleanse.
Yeah, I don't know what that one is.
Oh
but-
no!
Oh yeah. Motivation, cancer.
Heavy metals cleanse is an entire chapter on how to get rid of Onra.
It will cleanse your life, ending it permanently.
You see, this is why he's a young Earth creationist. He doesn't even know that these cleanses that you buy at the supermarket are just BS.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I mean,
I know
both of
hospitals.
No, go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was finished.
Oh my God,
We're not
he's
finished.
recommending.
Go ahead.
voice.
He's recommending drinking silver. Is
Speed, you are interrupting, good sir.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Diatoms
What I was gonna
used as a pool cleaner? What the? Okay, I'm
No,
gonna
I
shut up.
gotta
and
zoom
stop.
in. I gotta zoom in. I
Is he
can't.
talking about
read this
diatomaceous
up.
earth?
I think Gurr wants to say something.
Talk, Gurr, talk.
GrrBANia.
I was gonna say, as far as these cleanses go, and got a rigid body of toxins, all that is just sales gimmicks. Because when it comes to cleanses, as far as I know, like a doctor can, in an emergency setting, can actually cleanse you of certain types of toxins and whatnot. But you can't just go take a few vitamins and herbs and expect to actually rid body of anything other than poop.
Also, as a breatharian, wouldn't he say that you don't need all those things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
He's a breatharian too.
photosynthesize.
Okay, look at the logic
my
of this
God.
paragraph here. Diatoms are used as pool cleaner, so you should eat them. It's like, is that kind of what
It's
he's
also-
saying for fighting algae and parasites?
The slight distinction is it's not diatoms, it's diatomaceous earth. There's a slight difference. One's alive,
Parasite
the other one
prevention.
isn't.
Isn't it very? Is let's say like corrosive, like the diatomaceous earth, like it will like really scrape everything basically.
I mean, you got to give it to
I'm
him. Like,
still
not
curious.
too many people are brave enough to just not know anything and just publish a book on whatever they feel like.
I think he's the epitome of the Dunning-Kruger effect. He doesn't know that he doesn't know. Like he's blissfully unaware of everything. He doesn't know.
Erica, at the risk of being punished eternally, you earlier mentioned that you threw away honey. Why?
Oh, because it had done that crystallized thing, and then I put it in the microwave because I was hoping to decrystallize it, but I put it in for about 5 seconds too long, and so the plastic melted a little bit, and then I was convinced that, it's probably gotten into the honey, and so I just threw the whole thing out.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are you guys reading any of that? At the peak of my training and professional fighting career, my knees, elbows, wrists, and hands were covered in warts.
Hey, Speed, somebody wants a link.
That is so bizarre.
I
Speed,
kept my
somebody
notes
wants a
so that
link.
the athlete's foot and nail fungus where my toenails ended up falling off. Okay. I don't
He
know.
also had dandruff, which can be pretty much cured by washing your hair. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm glad I bought this book. I think it was $8.
But Erica, I'm still curious if you remember what LPP said about ribose, or maybe you don't remember.
Oh,
what he
yeah.
said.
No. He starts talking about ribose as if it's a protein at one point. Like he's talking about proteins, and he starts mentioning, like, bringing up ribose. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, listening to this, right? And again, I can't remember if this was in my debate or prior to that, and I just was thinking about it during the debate.
I think it was a debate.
Yeah, it all of a sudden it kind of comes to the surface, and you're like, now wait, hold on just a second. Ribose, it's a pretty basic concept to understand, right? Like most people take biochem, and that's like first, second week stuff, is understanding the basic definitions for biomolecules, right? But this is the guy that's overturning not just evolution, but the concept of abiogenesis, and he can't define it. He thinks it's a protein. And I was like, man, if only I had that kind of confidence to just completely talk about something that I have absolutely not the faintest, foggiest idea about, as if I were an expert. I can't even imagine what it must be like to live in John's head. He must have, like, I don't really even want to think about
it. It's the same thing with programming, actually. Like in information, he talks about it like he's some kind of he has a master's in this stuff, and then he makes fun of Godless Engineer, who does have a master.
Maybe he thinks that, like, because he's a programmer, he can talk about DNA and things like that. But
Yeah,
I would
it's the
say
same
no.
thing,
I would
don't
say
you know?
no. I would say no.
Well, the worst, like, what was worse in my opinion, honestly, like, I guess not knowing what ribose is, like not knowing ribose is like a sugar or whatever, like that's bad, but not knowing biochem, like people can be intimidated by biochem, whatever. But a couple of weeks after that, he was hosting a stream, and I know he's probably just, because he obviously listens to these streams because he hopes that he's going to be mentioned. So I'm sure he's still listening now, which, hey, John. But he was talking on a stream, and I had just gotten back from some event that I'd gone to. I can't remember, but I'd had a lot of wine at the event. I pulled open YouTube, and I see he's got this stream going on. This was probably a year ago now, maybe a little more. And I peek into the stream. He starts talking about how if a human were born with wings, that evolutionists everywhere would be going crazy saying this is such a good example of evolution. And in the side chat, I was like, wait, hold on just 1 second. Exactly how would this be an example of evolution, John? And he, we went back and forth for a minute, and he was finally like, well, just come in and explain it. So I came in, and I had to explain to the man who's overturning evolution that populations and not individuals evolve, and entire structures don't evolve all at one time. It's a series of precursor structures that are it's hindsight, but quote unquote
well, you see, you see, Erica, these are the same people who think that when you go into the laboratory, you're going to see a single mutation developing an eye or something like that.
Well, right, and then the dude is, and it takes a lot out of me, honestly, to talk about John, just because he's not worth
Also, am I echoing?
It kills me that he'll be over here in the side chat, talking about how, this, that, and the other thing about coding, the coder, whatever. And then it's like, dude, you're not arguing for a basic intelligent design concept. You're a young earth creationist, my friend. So you've got to go a lot further than, I think abiogenesis is hard and maybe God could have sparked that. You've got a whole lot of geology, a whole lot of physics, a whole lot of biology to explain in order to debunk evolution in the age of the earth. And you can't do it with the code needs a coder argument. And then you see him do that massive pivot where he's like, well, I take the conventional science when I'm arguing against whatever abiogenesis. I don't care. You are a young earth creationist. Stop being a coward and defend your position. What a weenie.
Could I comment on something you said like 10 minutes ago, Erica?
Yeah, sure.
Did you mention something about doing a video or animation on nested hierarchies?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. Because I would love to see that video because yeah, I agree. It's a very it's not too difficult to understand, but apparently all the people I talk to on this subject don't understand it.
And the reason it came to mind was because in Standing for Truth's book, you know, they're sitting there. Ronette is sitting there talking about how 5 traits unifying humans with the rest of the apes shouldn't matter because you can find 5 traits to unite humans with skunks. And he doesn't seem to understand that any 5 traits that are going to unite humans and skunks are also going to unite all primates with skunks, because that's the way that hierarchies work.
Well, not even that. I mean, like, not all traits are useful for analysis. Like, you're going to find traits that are shared due to conversion evolution or things like that. Like, not all traits are useful. They don't give.
Yeah, you're totally right. But this is also the guy who thinks that the taxonomic boundary paradox is still a thing. Like, he doesn't know what phylogeny is, evidently, or if he does, he's only ever heard the word and doesn't realize.
Could you enlighten me? What's the taxonomic boundary paradox?
It was this old deal that had to do with, like, prior to the development of phylogeny. It basically had an issue with categorizing organisms through time, right? Because it couldn't account for ancestry.
Wait, is this like pre-Hennig, like 1950s?
It might even be earlier than that. Like, it was closer to Linnaeus. Like, it was something that Linnaeus tackled.
Because yeah, like, but before the rise of cladistics, things were pretty subjective. If that's what you're talking about. So yeah,
effectively, yes. I mean, morphology does a good job of categorizing organisms, for sure. And they love to do this thing where it's like, oh yeah, Linnaean taxonomy is so superior, and you know, it's the evolutionists who are using phylogeny to warp the perspective. Again, it's always some shadowy cabal in a Gothic castle.
Right. Well, like SFT says, for example, you assume evolution to prove evolution or some nonsense like that. Which I guess it is technically true.
What he means when he says that is you assume heredity to prove evolution. That's like saying you assume gravity to perform Newtonian physics. Yes, because no one has shown that there is a line to be drawn there.
And you're looking for a natural explanation, a causal mechanism or whatever for what you're, I mean, that's what you're assuming, is that you're going to find some mechanism or some causality or something in methodological naturalism.
What if the mechanisms in evolution are God's intentions?
What? Could be.
No, not that the mechanisms are an after thing. That the natural selection.
Well, it doesn't matter, Danny.
Is God.
It doesn't matter. What we're looking for is the natural way for it to happen.
I mean,
and if we don't find
it does matter. Then you're looking for God. Then,
or if we prove it's impossible, then we're not looking. Basically, we're not going to find it. Because you're not going to find God doing it.
Functionally,
no one understands.
Those things are the same thing, though, right? Would they not be?
What's that?
I was saying, functionally, would those two things not be the same thing?
The what?
Functionally, like having a naturalistic explanation or having God stand in for evolution as if it's his will or something, right? Like,
no, I think those are different. They want to say those are different, right? Like, if God institutes gravity so that things fall on the ground or whatever, right? God is not gravity. That the effect is gravity, the cause is God. But what I was proposing is that God is gravity. God is natural selection or whatever, right? The mechanism. God is DNA. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
if
whatever.
your God is nature, then why call it God?
Yeah,
because it's intentional.
You could call it God, but
I mean, these people around here think that they're their brains, right? So how is that any crazier?
I mean, okay, looking for intention in some sort of evolutionary system, right? You're gonna. The only way that you can do that is if you can prove that it's impossible for it to have happened without intention. Okay.
No, but those mechanisms that you're pointing to are the intentions.
The mechanisms are the intention.
You think do you think that
Well, yeah. If
changes-
if you want to go for a theistic evolution, right?
No,
Where
no, no. Theistic
God had
evolution.
created the entire universe.
No, no, no. This is what Erica was saying. That I'm not saying that God instituted the world in which there are evolutionary mechanisms that explain diversity or whatever. I'm saying that God is those mechanisms.
Okay.
So
Wouldn't
therefore,
that relegate?
congratulations, y'all are
in this
theists.
universe.
Well,
The
I guess
universe
Wouldn't that
exists
relegate?
within us.
Wouldn't that relegate God to the natural world, though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
God is a natural thing
yeah,
Sure.
and
Whatever.
And why call it God?
because
that
it's
is the bridge.
intentional.
That is the bridge where basically I can understand calling the entire cosmos God. I don't have a problem with that.
But
Okay,
we
so
can
y'all are
predict
all- y'all are all
everything
theists
basically.
then.
So how is it anything intentional that we can't? It would be like something you're trying to say that we can't predict it or something, but we do predict how the universe works for the
God's
most part.
beliefs
As
make
in,
predictions.
as in normal experiences.
But
I mean,
Hold
I
on for a second.
gotta
Hold
say,
on for
guys.
a second.
Oh, sorry.
No, guys, I was about to tell you, look in the private chat because Andrew got overtalked, and he's basically saying that he would like to maybe assist you in your endeavors with that video. So
Yeah, I'd
just
love to
take a
run
look.
what I've got by him. But what I was gonna say is like something that I think that a lot of the young Earth creationists don't understand. Like they want to, in my opinion, what in my experiences, I guess, my anecdotal experiences, they want to paint naturalism and being secular and all that stuff into a singular anti-Christian bubble. And I'll speak only for myself here because I know not everybody here agrees with me. I'm not an anti-theist. If you want to take a theistic evolutionist standpoint, fine. I don't care. I like investigating the natural world because I think it's interesting. So if people want to take that stance and argue that they think that God, like we could create life in a lab tomorrow using only naturalistic methods, and then they would just say, oh, well, God fine-tuned the conditions for that to happen. And I don't really care. I'm fine with that, whatever. But the point that I have a problem with is when individuals like that directly debase the natural world in an attempt to give something that has a natural explanation, a supernatural one, in a roundabout way, right? It's not someone putting something into place. It's the Earth is 6,000 years old. I don't know. It just looks old, whatever. And it's like, and to take it a step further, if you want to say that and say, I don't really give a shit about the science, that's just what I think, whatever. But the second you start saying scientifically this is the case, that's when I want to get involved because I think that's pretty wild.
Right. Well, another good point is that like science, or like someone once told me, for example, and I think it's a good point, that like the power of science is that it doesn't really matter if there are indeed supernatural, paranormal, whatever explanations. You'll still find some kind of knowledge about the natural world in some way or fashion.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, this is the case. I mean, the problem comes when you've got people who come in and they say, you know, the Earth is flat, or the Earth is young, or humans aren't animals, or I think that whatever, insert whatever young Earth or flat Earth position here, right? Viruses don't exist. You could do this with anti-vax too, and that kind of thing is just demonstrably false. And
Wait,
again,
there are actually people who say that we're not animals? What?
Yeah, well, special creatures, not animals. Special creatures.
That's ridiculous. But
in fact, you'll get a kick out of this. Some people think we're mammals, but not animals. And by some people, I mean Rama.
Okay.
Not animals. Okay.
So, I mean, if you can find a way to make your faith work with the observations that we see, the observations that lead to the sciences that help you fill up your car so you can drive around, or for us to have this conversation on a two-way monitor, or to heal disease, heal pathogens from people, all that kind of stuff. That's fine with me. I don't care. But if you're going to say I have this belief and all of those things are wrong, and then continue to use them, I think that's kind of silly.
Right.
There's one point where basically I run into problems with theists, and that is this article I had where they hate Francis Collins now
I do have a little friend down here.
because
sorry.
and then they refer to this thing where they found brainwaves in a 45-day-old fetus, or yeah, I think that was it. They found that they have brainwaves, right? So they extrapolate from brainwaves to having thoughts and a soul and consciousness, and that's the point when they get into the mind. That's where I lose it with the theists. But I mean, when I talk to theists and I talk about Buddhism or faith or spirituality or whatever, I use the word God all the time. And what I mean is the cosmos, right? And I don't have a problem with using the word God because it's a really nice short name for the cosmos, right? So, I mean, as long as you don't deny any goddamn science, as long as you don't rule out any science, I don't have a problem with faith and spirituality.
You can even rule science out. Go nuts. Just do it with something that's also empirical. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, oh, I think that the dynamo model is wrong. It's like, okay, well, cool, awesome. That's a great hypothesis. What do you have to bring to the table?
As long as you don't sit on a school board.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, even then, actually, like contrarian opinions are what makes science awesome. The fact that it's mutable.
Right.
Also, what gets you banned from speed stream, right?
Oh, am I gonna get banned?
Yeah, if you're a contrarian, you don't last long in these
No,
parts.
Danny's gonna get banned.
Man, you can be a contrarian. You just have to be able to back up your chops with some data and some models. Yeah, give me the receipts.
Yep.
Okay, I've recently seen a presentation by I think he's an anthropologist maybe, but he has an interesting hypothesis on like how Danny's gone. He has an interesting hypothesis on how humans learned, or at least our ancestors learned how to use fire. And he points out that we, like the big brain trait needs we need fire to have a big brain because otherwise we couldn't have the necessary nutrients to fuel our big brains. But we also need the big brains to make fire. So which came first? And he his ideas is like the early ancestors got fire from lava that seeped out in the area where in the Rift Valley, basically, and that's why. And that's also
could have been forest fire. Could have been grassland fires. I mean,
he points out that the lava provides a more steady stream of a source of fire than random bushfires.
Yeah, but how many times do you think it was that hominins, over the course of approximately 7 million years, discovered fire and it was completely lost from that population? They forgot, right? Hominins collectively didn't use fire for 1 million years. And then again, they figure it out. And then again, it's lost. I mean, this kind of thing goes back and forth all the time. And I think that the cool thing about hominin evolution in general is that the fossil record's always going to surprise you. I think one of the cool things about extant apes today, people love to dunk on chimps, right? And act like chimps. Oh, they haven't discovered fire. Okay, where do they live? They live in the rainforest where it's wet all the time. Right. There's never any fire or any heat there that's going to give them an opportunity to harvest it. You can teach a chimp how to use a match to light a fire and how to keep a fire lit. So is it possible? Now, do I think that a chimp is capable of harnessing fire and keeping it lit? Probably not. But they're also under almost anti-selection for it. I mean, they're just living in a place that is not conducive at all to it. And then you get to an Australopithecine, right? And these guys have 500 cc brain cases, almost double that of a chimp. Would they have been able to do it? Well, I don't know, maybe. What about early Homo? What about mid-Homo? So just because we don't find traces of it, because definitive fire use is almost always recorded in the soot on cave ceilings, or you find charred bones and charred, sticks and things like that around home shelters, what's deemed as home bases, kind of, where you find a lot of refuse, faunal refuse with fossils.
Yeah,
they could be using it, we just didn't know.
Yeah, I'm also skeptical. I'm also skeptical about the hypothesis because, he points out that a lot of the human ancestors and relatives are found near the Rift Valley, where these lava seeped out. But I think there may be an artifact of preservation because fossils preserve better when they are buried with ash and such. So
Yeah.
maybe
The taphonomic bias. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
I mean, the real winner would be to get down to like South Africa, to some of those cave sites down there, because they preserve super well. And if you're going to find any evidence for fire use, it's going to have to be in the cave.
Oh, that proves that the ancestral humans were cave dwellers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
unless you're finding ash.
Maybe not obligatory, but sometimes they were in caves. But yeah, it doesn't really prove that they were permanently inhabited in caves. But so it's only a taphonomical artifact that they are found in caves.
Yeah, you gotta be careful getting me going on this stuff, Nestle. I could talk for hours and hours and hours just on what we've been going through in.
Well, like you mentioned, chimps, Erica. I mean, like I don't know. Like when I see videos of them, ripping the limbs off a red colobus monkey, I just put my hands up. So.
I saw that in Washington D.C.
They'll do it to dikes too. All sorts of little critters. In fact, females, because they're less physically imposing as males, and they don't actually, it's less that, and it's more that they don't form coalitions, hunting coalitions. So sometimes they'll tag along with the males and hunt with the males, but more often than not, they'll go off by themselves, and they will sharpen sticks with their teeth, and then they will climb up into the trees and skewer bush babies with them in their holes.
Is there raccoon homicide, or is homicide common in other mammals?
It might be more like procyanicide.
What's that? Mammalicide?
Procyanicide.
Or co-specific homicide or whatever?
Yeah.
Conspecific. Like, is that something that's unique to primates? Murder? Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, I mean, sometimes, like a lot of animals will, they almost mock fight.
I think warfare is like also found in chimpanzees, right? Like they engage in warfare too.
Warfare is found in chimps. You could make the argument that warfare is found in bonobos too. Actually, I know warfare is found in bonobos, but you could make the argument that
I thought they were more like a make love, not war type.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they definitely make a lot more love than chimps, but they make almost as much war. So I guess they just have more time on their hands. But you know, it's an interesting deal. There's definitely, I mean, infanticide occurs in most primates too. Is that murder?
Well, Erica, you shattered my preconceptions about bonobos.
I love bonobos, and they were really cool. One of my colleagues just got back from the DRC last month from studying bonobos. She was at Gottfried's site down there, and she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are they really as horny as people say?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, any time of the day, right when you're observing, you'll be doing an ad libitum sample, and they'll just drop down right by you, and they're just going at it, and you're just like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? You know.
Raccoons kill babies, baby raccoons.
Yeah, infanticide. It's pretty common in mammals in general. That's why paternity confusion strategies are so interesting.
Yeah.
Is it only in mammals or also in birds, maybe, or some other?
I think birds will do infanticide. I think they'll infanticide, though. It's less of a gendered thing in birds. I think that. I mean, I know they'll lay eggs intentionally in like cuckoos and stuff like that, but
has it maybe to do with because mammals have the Y chromosome and birds have the X or WZ chromosome set up? Maybe that's why.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I think it's mostly because in birds, their mating system is their mating systems tend to be less complicated. I mean, you've got mammals mate in all sorts of different weird ways. And if there's ever any competition among males, right, and you're living in a multi-male, multi-female society, or even if you're living in a multi-female, one-male society and a new male comes in, infanticide is almost always part of the picture. Because if you're a male, you want to send all the females in the group directly back into estrus. And the fastest way to do that is to kill your offspring who you know isn't yours. Which is why female chimps and female bonobos are so ridiculously promiscuous. They confuse paternity, and so male chimps are cool with all the babies because they don't know whose is theirs and whose isn't.
Yeah,
this may
also the naked morant is an outlier because if one female mating with a lot of males.
No, not necessarily. There are quite a few primates that are like that too. They're mostly.
I mean, naked morant. I mean,
yeah. I mean, marmosets and tamarins. One female with two males, and what she does is she will mate with both, confuse the paternity, and then dupe both into helping take care of the offspring.
Hey guys, we got a shooter in the head.
Aw.
Can I ask one more question for Erica, real quick?
You can, but you guys are welcome to stay backstage. So
Okay.
Okay, but
I'll wait
go
till
ahead.
backstage then.
No. If it's good content, go ahead and spew it out.
Oh, okay. I don't know how much you know about the subject of phenotypic plasticity, Erica. Do you by any chance?
It depends on the context.
I guess I'm trying to understand how it's related to evolution nowadays and how it could evolve as a trait.
Yeah, there's
Okay. Yeah, I mean, phenotypic plasticity is usually something that is going to be within a single organism, right? Usually
Right.
phenotypic plasticity, like the Italian wall lizards. They're used often as this example of phenotypic plasticity because you took all
Right.
these wall lizards and you slapped them in a new environment. All of a sudden, they're getting these cecal valves and stuff like that to primarily consume plant matter and stuff like that, right? So phenotypic plasticity, though, the difference between that and like morphs that you would normally find in natural variation in a population, right, is that phenotypic plasticity is always going to be dwarfed by interspecies variation. That's a prediction that can be made, right? So if you're taking a specific characteristic and you're measuring it, the range within the species is always going to be less than the range between two species, which is why it's always the funniest thing to me when you get creationists, like, for instance, our friend John Maddox, who proposed that the fossil record is simply the result of phenotypic plasticity. You are not going to get a morph like Paranthropus boisei that is the same species as something like Australopithecus afarensis. That is not how phenotypic plasticity works, particularly because it's growth-based, right? We're not talking about cecal valves in the gastrointestinal system of a lizard.
Well, because I'm kind of confused because I thought that genetic variation was in interspecies populations as well.
Yeah, it is. It has to do with comparing the interspecies variation versus the population level variation versus the species variation. So the entire species versus individual populations within that species versus closely related species.
And
Right.
at which level is phenotypic plasticity common?
It's going to be coming at population level primarily, but you
Okay.
can probably map it at the species level as well.
It's going to be epigenetic, right? It has to be epigenetic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is exactly why you can't blame the fossil record for it. You're not going to get severe bone morphology changes in things like supraorbital ridges and chins and dentition, for God's sake. I mean,
but didn't they hypothesize some mechanism where phenotypic plasticity would lead, and then eventually it would mutations would take over?
Genetic assimilation.
Yeah,
Okay.
potentially. I mean, if the pressures are right. But the thing is that it's kind of like the concept of incomplete lineage sorting that we were talking about earlier, Andrew. I mean, if the environment is changing too much, it's going to stay a plastic trait, right? Because it's beneficial for it to remain plastic if the environment is constantly shifting around. In the same way, speciation can't happen if the environment won't fully geographically isolate two species. It still allows intermixing.
And there are many constraints to phenotypic plasticity, basically. But when you look at insect, what is it, molting and what is the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it can be quite extensive, but it's still going to be limited in some fashion. I mean, it's not going to be. You're not going to get you're not going to get what creationists want to get out of it, basically.
Right.
You're not going to get a Neanderthal.
Right. So what I'm getting from this is phenotypic plasticity can explain the morphological changes that we're seeing.
Yeah. In the fossil record?
I don't think so.
Right.
No.
Like
it might, like, you might have a situation where you have two specimens and they are apart from a few features, they are almost the same. And so a paleontologist might say, like, oh, maybe they are two different species, but perhaps in reality they might be just like slight variations of the same species. We will never know. Like in those situations, plasticity may be an issue, but not with like a series of fossils, like for example birds from dinosaurs. Like you won't be,
So
plasticity
you
cannot
gotta
explain that.
distinguish-
No.
You gotta
there's
distinguish
two
between genotypic and phenotypic plasticity. Basically.
Well, there's two critical concepts here that have to be noted. Phenotypic plasticity acts on an individual, right? It's
Right.
acting on an individual's morphotype in response to changes in the environment. Evolution occurs at population levels. Now pause for a minute and think. How likely is it for an organism to fossilize? Not very likely, even in ideal conditions. So what are the odds, do you think, that you would get a phenotypic plasticity change that, first of all, you could never get the degree of with the bone changes, the skeletal morphology changes that we're seeing? But let's play devil's advocate for a moment and say that you could. Even if you could, the odds, statistically speaking, that you are going to get phenotypic plasticity that just so happens to proceed in a directional, a semi-directional means, right, where we're seeing certain traits selected to move, to become more gracile or more robust, right? And only in that direction, never preserving backwards, right? As phenotypic plasticity demands happen, right? If the environment changes back to the original, then you should see a reversion.
Mm.
What are the odds that you would see phenotypic plasticity mimic evolution in populations? It's inane. That would never, that is statistically never going to happen, one. But more importantly, we can map paleoclimates and paleo environments using things like stable isotopes. And we can get a good idea about what the environments were actually like, which bars phenotypic plasticity, which again is not very common among mammals in the first place, from being responsible for all of these changes, which just so happen, again, to appear to be moving in a single direction for all of these traits.
Yeah.
And when you say in a single direction, you mean in terms of I'm just trying to reconcile that with the fact that I thought evolution was not directional.
Evolution isn't directional. I'm only using the word directional in the sense that we are clearly going, for instance, in Australopithecines to Homo, from more robust traits, like a big robust brow ridge, to a more gracile one. That is an ad hoc observation, right? It's not actually directionally occurring, but when we observe it, we can see that the brow ridge is becoming more gracile.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's kind of like calling a transitional species, oh, does it have agency because it's choosing to transition? No, it's responding to the environment. But when we can view it with a bird's eye view backwards, we can see that it is moving in a specific quote unquote direction. That direction is just decided by the environment.
So it's kind of like retrospectively looking back and seeing things somewhat changing from more simple to more complex forms, when in reality that's just is it sort of like that in terms of the fossil record?
I mean it's similar. We assign the direction. I mean, we're noticing a pattern and referring to it as a direction, right? In dinosaurs, feathers emerge and they become more prolific. Is that directional selection? Technically, yes. That's even the name for it. You are going in the direction of gaining more feathers. Is there agency in that? No, not really.
Okay.
Okay, guys. I hate to do this. I've got another meeting coming up, so
Sorry for boring everybody to death with my lecture.
No, it was really good. Actually,
oh no, it was.
I don't think that was boring at all. Something we could get into further.
Oh, always.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to end the stream for today.
Yeah. Stay curious.
Last words. Goodbye, cruel world.